really very happy to have my guest today, John McAfee. We've decided we're going to go with the Irish version of the pronunciation of the name, because I hear all the other, I'm going, no, McAfee sounds much better to me. And as you pointed out, you are someplace undivulged in the world, and you're using all sorts of, like, well, is it old-fashioned, the bubble stuff, to stop people, sort of tuning in to find out where you are?
Basically, it's a Faraday cage.
Okay.
It does not allow signals to enter or leave, and we're also protected by signal jammers that jam every possible signal classification, including WiMAX and things of that nature.
Perfect.
Just so that we can't be located via electronic signals. We've thrown away our telephones. We don't carry smartphones anymore. Seems ridiculously unnecessary. I'm able to talk to you and see you through a variety of non-telephone mediums. So, and we're protected by multiple levels of private as well as public VPNs. So that's the reason for the tinfoil part of it, just the electronic security.
Because I know I watched an interview with a colleague of mine, Darren Parkin, in Coin Rivet, about how you were moving islands on the boat and then you were arrested, and it was just crazy stuff. So you're not unreasonable to remain anonymous and undetected. So I guess my question is, do you have a normal life now?
I need a normal life. I've always lived a normal life, to my knowledge. I mean, I'm just doing what everybody does, following my heart, and refusing to indulge in things that I don't want to do. I mean, that's all. And the result of those two things is brought me to this situation. It's just like, whatever brought you to your current situation is, I hope you following your heart.
Oh, totally. I'm 100%. I'm all in blockchain. I went through divorce, recession, and repossession, and bailiffs, and all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I went, ooh, blockchain. I like blockchain. So I'm definitely following my passion. I saw an interview of you a long time ago, actually, and you made a comment that actually resonated with me. You said you mostly only support projects that mean something for the world. Like you're not looking for gaming necessarily. So it's mostly, sustainable technologies and stuff like that. Is that still the case?
It's always been the case. I mean, if you look at the projects I've supported, you keep in mind we had 2 years of a massive bear market and all sorts of catastrophes in crypto. In spite of that, I'm proud of every one of my commitments. Academic in the medicine field, and Apollo in the privacy field, my own decentralized exchange. These are things that we need. I mean, we have to have a decentralized and distributed exchange for the people, else we will end up being owned completely by government yet again through fiat will simply be crypto, owned by and managed by the government. And governments are already thinking about it and coming out with their own crypto. The beauty of crypto is you don't have to use it. You have options. Bitcoin and Monero and Ethereum, thousands of other options. So stick with what the people have developed and totally ignore what those in power want us to do in terms of crypto.
I mentioned at the start that I'm all into blockchain, and it's interesting because when I say to people, "Oh, I'm working in this space," they say, "Oh, is it a Ponzi scheme?" And I'm going, "Have you looked at modern financial, quantitative easing, all the stuff, the modern, it beggars belief that people think that normal finance is normal, if you like, and that crypto is somehow strange." I'm going, "Have you looked at it recently?"
Here's the issue: people who've actually used crypto, and I hope that most in your viewing audience have done so, understand the power of having your own wallet. It's your own bank. Do you understand? Your wallet is your bank. And if you want to wire funds to someone in another country, you don't have to get out of bed and get in your car and drive to the bank and stand in line and fill out forms and get approval to wire someone $100 and then get back in your car and go home. No, you stay in bed, whip out your smartphone, get your wallet, and send $100. Put it back on the night table and go back to sleep, or continue watching TV, or making love to your spouse, or whatever you were doing. Now, if you've done that, if you have actually transmitted or received funds more than once, I promise you, you see the futility of banks trying to compete.
Yeah. Well, I recently I had a frustration where I was trying to move some money, my money, from a bank, and I had to present so many different forms of ID for my money before they would release it. And it just, the whole modern system is crazy, so I believe it. So you've just recently launched a new decentralized exchange, and
Yes.
you've deliberately put no KYC.
I'm sorry?
I said, I understand you've deliberately not included KYC? There's no
No,
KYC on your...
no, we have every ERC20 token, every ERC1440, every ERC token, Ethereum. On the 8th, we'll be adding Tron with no cross-chain yet. At the first of the year, we will add Binance, EOS, and NEO. And then the end of the first quarter, we will have cross-chains and multiple more blockchains. So we will be continually adding to and keeping up.
Because I understand current volumes of trading volumes on decentralized exchanges, it's about 1% of the entire market. So how will you encourage people to use your DEX, for example?
You know, I'm letting it take its own life. I mean, we already have over 100 developers that have volunteered. Our source is open, both for the program and for the smart contracts on the blockchain, and people are liking it. And people don't use distributed exchanges because there is no volume and there's no one there. But let me tell you something, when governments end up in control, like in China, when it shut down every exchange in the country 2 years ago, well, that sent shockwaves to our community. Well, you can't shut down a decentralized, distributed exchange. And so, you know, we already have many hundreds, well, thousands of pairs. We'll be adding Tron on the 8th, and that's going to add even more. Binance, EOS, and NEO will add even more. And people are actually using it and coming back. Certainly not in volumes. We don't expect volumes yet. How can you have volume if we have what? We'll only have two blockchains on the 8th of November. That's Ethereum and Tron. Well, I mean, they're many blockchains out there, but as we add more and more, it will become more and more useful. And keep in mind, we don't keep your money. We don't take a deposit. We don't have nothing to do with the coins or the cash. You don't charge you to list. In fact, you only have to tell us. We have a button, add new token, add your own. Doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly, we don't monitor anything. We don't ask for your name or your email or an ID or a bank, nothing. We don't want to know anything because I don't want to have to be responsible to the Securities and Exchange Commission. All right.
Yeah.
For why aren't you doing know your customer or anti-money laundering? Well, I can't. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. When I built this system, I was just thinking about, well, the people. I wasn't actually thinking about the government. God, I'm so sorry. However, it's too late now. It's on the blockchain. Do you understand? And if you want to take my domain, McAfeedex.com, please go ahead. We already have 10 portals up, 10 other portals. You're not going to shut it down. And we'll have hundreds and hopefully thousands. And it's truly distributed. So I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because when that day comes and they grab me and go, well, here's one other crime you've committed, you're not monitoring, and then I'm going, I'm sorry, the way I built it, it never occurred to me that you might want to know something about it. God, I'm so sorry, but you know what? It can't be fixed now. It's there forever on the blockchain. I'm so sorry. Good God, I made a mistake. What do you want me to do? You know, I mean, kiss your feet? No. And I want to have to say, well, yes, I did know about this transaction, or, you know, I did know that this person was from South America and involved in a cartel. Fuck no, I don't want to know anything. This is for you people. Use it.
Yes. And tell me, sorry, my finger went there. And tell me, how soon do you think will it scale? I mean, do you think people are playing with it now? So do you think there'll be, like, you've got 100 developers on it, do you think in a year's time there'll be, you know, a substantial amount of traffic on the exchange?
Oh, yes. I mean, I hope so, else we're all done for, really, because governments are cracking down. India's already passed laws. It's illegal to own or transact in any cryptocurrency. Now, do you think that's going to stop it? It hasn't. None of the Indian traders or users stopped using it. Like when they passed the law in America saying weed, and this is back in the 30s, marijuana is illegal. Did it stop anybody? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it's the most popular recreational drug out there. So you can only expect a law to have an effect if it can be enforced, and this one can't.
Yeah.
There's too many. Here's what happens. You get a certain level of population, doesn't have to be much, 10%, 5%, we're going, you know what? I like this, I'm going to use it. At that point, you might as well drop the law, save your money.
Mm.
So,
It's been
yeah,
proven time and again.
in a year's time, we'll have almost every chain. We'll have cross chains, and we will be just like Binance, only much cheaper and requiring no fucking information. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's all right. The Irish curse a lot. It's okay. So, I mean, it is an amazing time to be alive. It's an amazing industry to be part of this industry. So for you now, obviously you're in an unknown location, but do you exist solely, you're spending as it all in cryptocurrencies, or do you still use fiat as well?
Do I what now?
Sorry, do you spend entirely in cryptocurrencies, or do you use fiat sometimes as well?
Well, I have to use fiat. I can't buy a cup of coffee or, you know, get to buy something from a street vendor without fiat. So of course I use it. I try my best not to.
Mm-hmm.
I did every opportunity. I mean, I own nothing in my name, but friends of mine who do buy things and let me stay there or visit or whatever have bought houses, cars, even Bentleys, and a, a classic 1958 Corvette.
Wow.
You know, and high-end houses, low-end houses. Yes, yes. I mean, it's creeping into the world in a big way, and it's not going to go away. This is like Pandora's box. Not that we wanted to go back in, but all the king's horses and all the king's men are not putting that stuff back in that box.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah.
So we just wait it out. I mean, it has a life of its own, and it will take root and flower.
Mm. What would you like to be on your tombstone as your legacy? Because if you think about it, I should have said earlier, it's interesting. Your name is your first company, the antivirus company. So you're not. It's not like, you know, Bill Gates is not. It's Microsoft, or Jobs is Apple. So you have your name. What would you like your legacy?
What I'd really, I mean, the truth.
Yeah.
If I were just to somehow turn around and there's my tombstone.
Yeah.
I would like it to say something like, "Not here. We're still waiting for the old bastard to die." I mean, that would be the perfect description. All right. Other than that, I don't know, John McAfee. lover of life and many women, adventurer, poet, and found his lasting soulmate in Mrs. Janice McAfee. I think that would do it.
That would be
There's
beautiful.
nothing more that's necessary, is there?
No, no. One last question. Have you published your poetry?
Have I what?
Sorry, published your poetry?
Yes, yeah, only once. And good God, that was when I was 19, living, going to Roanoke College, studying mathematics. And it got published in a book called The Poet, or I can't even remember. A whole bunch of poems, really.
Wow. Will you pen some more? Will you write some more poetry?
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, I mean, poetry is a tough discipline, right? I mean, it's tough not in the doing of it, but the being truthful with it. Because poetry is really just the song of the heart, and the heart's song is its own song, and toes no lines, obeys no expectations. So a true poet, you know, I mean, true poets. I mean, Jesus God, people like Edgar Allan Poe. Now there was a fucking poet. Everything that he wrote, every word, whether it was some, you know, deep, dark soul, rending thought, you know, like with the Raven, you know, Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. Good God Almighty, was that a poem? To just the sound of words itself. You know, he wrote a song called The Bells, and the refrain is the bells, 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 bells. The tintinnabulation of the bells. Now, tintinnabulation is a real fucking word. How he found out about it, I don't have a clue. But you can't say those words without bells, especially when you get the tintinnabulation of the bells.
Tintinnabulation.
And your
That's a
ears are
beautiful
just
word.
ringing, you know?
That is a
And
beautiful word.
then you've got even deeper with Shakespeare. Holy shit, you know, was that something from the shortest of all phrases, you know, in King Lear, where the fool is making fun of the fact that, you know, he's lost everything. Foolishly gave up his kingdom to his daughters and divided it, and then it collapsed. And so the fool is going, you know, and the king goes, "Dost thou call me fool, boy?" And fool goes, "All thy other titles thou hast given away." It's like another to Hamlet, which goes on for pages of soul-rending narrative about should we live or take our own lives in situations of seeming impossibility. And then, you know, the end response is to sleep to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. Well, I mean, that's the beginning of the horror of Hamlet's soliloquy. Now, if that's not poetry, I don't know what is.
Wow.
See, I can't do stuff like that. I mean, it's just, well, good God, man. You know, where's the gain?
Well, before you actually started quoting, you said some stuff which I'll send back to you that was very beautiful. So I think you're a poet and you don't know it. And it's hard to compare yourself to Shakespeare.
I do know it. I'm just too lazy to practice it.
Okay, that's allowed too. Well, I'm saying thank you
Well, thank you so very much.
Your time was amazing, and maybe I'll come back to you again with some more sort of questions, whatever. But I am very honored. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today and your wonderful erudite learning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.